Inconclusive.
INEC concludes release of results of governorship and state houses of assembly elections. Supplementary elections expected in 6 states declared inconclusive.
Doctor certified that he is not fit to be in court.
Daily trial of suspended former Chief Justice of Nigeria, Walter Onogen, stalled due to ill health.
It's sad to see sugar go.
National Assembly resumes at June's plenary to honor late colleague. And Canadian investors prospect Nigerian mining potentials in Toronto. Hello and thanks for joining us tonight on the news at 9. We are live on the network service of the NTA. I am Muhammad Kudu Abubakar in Abuja. Michael Olale is in Lagos and Charles Abba is in Makudi. President Muhammadu Buhari is back in Abuja after a 5-day visit to Daura, Katsina State. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports that the president, accompanied by his wife Aisha Buhari, was received at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport by his chief of staff Abba Kyari and the minister of the Federal Capital Territory Muhammad Musa Bello and other senior government officials. While in Daura, his ancestral home, President Buhari exercised his democratic rights by voting in the governorship and state house of assembly elections. And before leaving Daura, the Nigerian leader received in audience the Emir of Daura, Umar Faruk Umar, on a solidarity visit. The Emir led prominent title holders to formally rejoice with the president over the renewal of his mandate, as well as continued sacrifice for sustainable development of the country. Prayers were offered to God to guide, protect, and grant President Buhari the wisdom to execute his people-centered policies and programs in the next level. President Muhammadu Buhari granted audience to the governors of the All Progressives Congress on congratulatory visit as celebrations over the renewal of his mandate continue across the country. Again, State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports that the governors were led by the chairman of the Nigeria Governors Forum and governor of Zamfara State, Abdul Aziz Yari. In attendance at the high-level engagement with the president include the governors of Kaduna, Kogi, Kebbi, Borno, Ekiti, and Jigawa states. Details of their discussions, which lasted about 1 hour behind closed doors, were not made public. Governor Abdulaziz Yari of Zamfara State, however, told NTA News that President Buhari deserves not only congratulations on his re-election, but continued support, understanding, and cooperation as he strives to execute his next-level agenda for Nigeria.
To congratulate Mr. President on his overwhelming victory on his re-election on 23rd February 2019. That's the main mission of this high-powered delegation.
What have you discussed with the president apart from that?
No, we're discussing about the development of our party. We have been control of about 25 before exit of Kwara, Benue, and Sokoto. And we are looking at the outcome of gubernatorial election held 4 days ago.
The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has released results of the just concluded March 9th, 2019 governorship and state houses of assembly elections. Results in 6 states were declared inconclusive, while that of Rivers State was suspended. Timothy Yusuf in this report examines the reasons why supplementary elections are scheduled to hold in the 6 states.
6 states declared inconclusive include Plateau, Adamawa, Bauchi, Benue, Sokoto, and Kano states. In Plateau State, the margin of a lead of 44,929 between the APC and the PDP candidate is less than 49,377 cancelled votes. Simon Lalong of APC polled a total of 583,225 votes, while Jerry Husseini of PDP scored 538,326 and 471 votes, above 334,995 of Jibril Abindo of the APC, thereby leaving the margin of 32,476, with cancelled votes standing at 40,988. In Bauchi State, Senator Bala Mohammed of the PDP polled 469,512, ahead of 465,453, scored by Mohammed Abubakar of the APC. Cancelled votes in the election is 45,312.
In line with sections 46 and 53 of the Electoral Act, and because the margin of lead is not in excess of the total number of registered voters, I declare this election inconclusive.
Samuel Otom of the PDP in Benue State scored 410,576, ahead of Emmanuel Jime of the APC, who polled 329,022, leaving the margin of 81,544, with cancelled votes standing at 121,019. In Kano State, Abba Yusuf of the PDP polled 1,014,474 votes, ahead of 987,819, scored by Abdullahi Umar Ganduje of the APC. There is a margin of 26,655 votes in between them, while cancelled votes stood at 128,572. Aminu Waziri Tambuwal of the PDP in Sokoto scored 489,558 votes, ahead of APC Saliu Ahmed, who polled 486,145, leaving the margin of 3,413 votes between them. The number of cancelled votes in the election stood at 75,403.
As a result of this, I cannot conclude on the winner. So I declare this election inconclusive.
Away from the inconclusive election, the Independent National Electoral Commission suspended all electoral processes in Rivers State until further notice. The commission explains that the decision was due to widespread violence in the state during the March 9 governorship and state assembly polls. The commission also claimed some of its staff were held hostage, while materials including result sheets were reportedly destroyed.
The commission decided to suspend all the processes in Rivers State based on credible reports from our field officers to the effect that some of our field officers have been targeted for arrest, some of them have been kidnapped.
In the meantime, those who lost in the election have continued to reject the election results, while the People's Democratic Party is alleging partisanship on the part of the Independent National Electoral Commission. The party's National Publicity Secretary and Director of Media and Publicity of Presidential Campaign Organization, Kola Olobondion, addressed a media briefing in Abuja. Timothy Yusuf, NT News.
I'm now joined by Festus Okoye, INEC National Commissioner in charge of Information and Voter Education, to speak more on the issues of the 2019 general elections. Mr. Okoye, welcome to NTA Studios.
Thank you so much.
INEC declared elections in 6 states as inconclusive. What are arrangements by INEC now to conclude these pending elections?
Well, the Independent National Electoral Commission met today and decided that all the pending elections that have not been concluded will be concluded on the 23rd day of March 2019, especially in the 6 states where we had inconclusive governorship elections. And then the same process will apply to state constituencies where the elections were inconclusive. So we are going to go back to all the states where the elections were not concluded to conclude those elections on the 23rd day of March 2019.
INEC gave its fact-finding team that is sent to Rivers State to investigate issues related to the electoral violence and other issues 48 hours to conclude its report.
Yes.
48 hours ended at 4 p.m. today. So what is the position? Have the fact-finding team submitted reports to the powers that be in INEC?
Well, I don't know when why you pigeonhole the conclusion or the end of 48 hours at 4 p.m. today. As far as the commission is concerned, the 48 hours has not elapsed, and we're expecting a report from the team within 48 hours of the setting up of that particular team. So we're expecting a report from them, and the moment the report is submitted to the commission today, the commission will consider the report and then inform the Nigerian people of its next line of action.
Will the inconclusiveness of elections in 6 states affect the presentation of certificates of return to the already declared results and winners?
No, the Independent National Electoral Commission will present certificates of return to people who won elections to the Senate and to the House of Representatives on Thursday this week. And thereafter, the commission will meet and then decide on when to present certificates to persons who won elections to the various state house assembly and those who were declared elected as governors. And I presume that that process will take place next week. But for senatorial candidates and those for the House of Representatives, that will take place on Thursday this week. And the notice to that effect has been published in various newspapers, and I also saw it in various television stations. So that process is in progress.
Imo State Governor Rochas Okorocha is reported to be among the senators-elect, but the INEC list outlining the senators-elect did not have his name. Was it deliberate by INEC?
Well, the Independent National Electoral Commission has published the names of those it believes are senators-elect on its website. And for Imo West Senatorial District, the Independent National Electoral Commission did not publish the name of any candidate as having been elected to that particular position. So to that particular
it was deliberate.
So to that particular extent, no certificate will be presented to any individual or any candidate that contested elections to the Imo West Senatorial District.
You have not said whether it was deliberate that you did not publish the name.
Well, the commission decided that the declaration that was made by the returning officer for Imo West Senatorial District was procured under duress, and the commission decided that it was not going to present any certificate to anybody that emerged from Imo West Senatorial District. So the commission took that particular decision not to publish the name of any individual because as far as the commission is concerned, a declaration and a return must be made out of the free will of the returning officer, and the commission deliberated on the issue and decided that the returning officer was put under tremendous pressure to make that particular return, and to that particular extent, the commission will not present any certificate of return to any individual or any candidate that emerged from such a return.
So what is the position of INEC on Imo West? Are you going to now schedule another election, or when are you going to declare any person that you deem to have won that election?
Well, after the presentation of certificates of return to the persons who have been elected to the Senate and the House of Representatives, and after the presentation of certificate of return to governors and members of the state assemblies, and when we conclude the supplementary elections, then the commission will meet and take a decision in relation to what happens in Imo West and another constituency, I think Yobe constituency in Benue State. So those two constituencies, the commission made a determination that the declaration that was made and the return that was made were not made of the free will of the returning officers, and to that particular extent, the commission has not taken a final decision on what to do in relation to them.
Mr. Festus Okoye, INEC National Commissioner in charge of Information and Voter Education, thank you for your time.
Thank you so much.
In the meantime, wife of the president, Aisha Muhammadu Buhari, has expressed gratitude to Nigerian women and youths for their support towards the re-election of President Buhari during the February 2019 general elections. This was coming at a dinner in Daura, the hometown of the president, organized by Mrs. Buhari under the auspices of Women and Youth Presidential Campaign Team. State House correspondent Aliu Kabir reports.
The dinner was organized by the wife of the president, Aisha Muhammadu Buhari, in honor of the supporters of the president residing in his hometown, Daura, and the entire people of Katsina State. It was meant to celebrate the victory of President Muhammadu Buhari in the 2019 general elections, and it attracted the participation of people from far and near, comprising members of the All Progressives Congress, party supporters, and other well-wishers. While expressing gratitude for their massive support towards the victory of President Muhammadu Buhari, the wife of the president called on them to continue to give their support for more dividend of democracy.
I would like to thank the Daura people and the entire people of Katsina State for their maximum support. For 16 years, there are so many people that are here tonight that never changed their mind right from inception or right from the day my husband joined politics up to today. We thank them so much. May God reward them.
Other speakers reaffirmed their support towards the good policies and programs of President Buhari of improving the nation's economy.
I would like to extend my gratitude to Her Excellency, the wife of the President, for honoring us with this great dinner of victory.
The victory is for the fight against corruption and all the wonderful foundation he has laid for this country.
Mrs. Buhari has since returned to Abuja. Aliu Kabir, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the Buhari Media Organization says President Muhammadu Buhari will, at the end of his second and final term in office, bequeath a robust democratic space that many Nigerians will be proud of. In a statement by the chairman, Ni Akinsiju, and Secretary Kasidi Madweke, the BMO says this is obvious from the president's deliberate non-interference in the just concluded governorship and state houses of assembly elections. In the organization's words, Buhari did not go out of his way to give the All Progressives Congress, APC, an undue advantage in the last Saturday's elections. Emir of Kano, Malam Muhammad Sanusi II, has urged the people of Kano State to remain steadfast and supportive to the democratic processes. Emir Sanusi stated this in a special broadcast to the people of the state on the need to live in peace, irrespective of political differences. Mansour Aliyu Hassan reports.
The need for peace to prevail among the people of Kano State necessitated the Emir of Kano, Malam Muhammad Sanusi II, to make passionate appeal for harmonious coexistence. He said Kano must remain a reference point on account of its cosmopolitan nature.
We urge the people of Kano to remember that our great state has a reputation and the world is watching us. We should avoid any actions that will bring this state to ridicule and reduce the esteem with which other people hold Kano.
Emir Muhammad Sanusi II urged people in the state to remain calm and pursue their legitimate businesses. Meanwhile, former governor of Kano State and senator-elect for Kano Central, Malam Ibrahim Shekau, also called on the people in the state not to disrupt peace on account of inconclusive election.
I therefore wish to urge all our fellow citizens of Kano, men and women, particularly supporters of various political parties, to exercise restraint and exercise extreme patience and tolerance.
In Kano, Mansour Aliyu Hassan, NTA News.
Biometrics data generating agencies re-strategize on unified national identity. Details when we return. Thank you for remaining with the NTA Network News. Reports just reaching us says President Muhammadu Buhari has approved the constitution of the 2019 Presidential Inauguration Committee. A statement signed by Permanent Secretary General Services Office Olusegun Adekunle Esquire outlined the members of the committee as follows: Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Chairman; Minister of Information and Culture, Member; Minister of Interior, Member; Minister of Foreign Affairs, Member; Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Member; Minister of Defense, Member; Minister of Health, Member; Minister of Education, Member; Minister of State Aviation, Member. Other members include National Chairman, All Progressives Congress, APC; Inspector General of Police; Director General, Department of State Service; Commander, Brigade of Guards; Permanent Secretary, State House; Permanent Secretary, General Services Office; and Permanent Secretary, Political and Economic Affairs, Member and Secretary. The Presidential Inauguration Committee is to plan, organize, and execute all approved activities for the 2019 presidential inauguration. Also announced is President Muhammadu Buhari's approval for the constitution of the Policies, Programs and Projects Audit Committee. The Permanent Secretary General Services in the Office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Olusegun Adekunle, in a statement signed by him, outlined the membership of this audit committee as follows. His Excellency, the Vice President, Federal Republic of Nigeria, Chairman. Other members include Chief of Staff to the President, Head of the Civil Service of the Federation, Minister of Budget and National Planning, Minister of Finance, Minister of Power, Works and Housing, and Honorable Attorney General and Minister of Justice. Other members include Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, Minister of Transportation, Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development, and Minister of Water Resources. Others include Governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, National Security Advisor, Permanent Secretary, Cabinet Office, and Deputy Chief of Staff to the President, Member and Secretary. The Audit Committee will be inaugurated on Friday, the 15th of March 2019 at 3 p.m. in the Vice President's Conference Room. The Presidential Inauguration Committee will, however, be inaugurated on Thursday, the 14th of March 2019 at 5 p.m. in the Office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation's Conference Room. In another news, the Code of Conduct Tribunal has adjourned the trial of the suspended Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Walter Onoge, on the alleged false declaration of assets till Monday, the 18th of March, 2018. The chairman of the tribunal, Aladi Omar, gave the order at the resumed trial of the matter Tuesday in Abuja. Olabode Arewa reports.
At the resumed trial of Justice Walter Onoge's case, the defendant was absent at the Code of Conduct Tribunal. Addressing the tribunal on the development, Counsel to Onoge, Adegboyega Awomolo, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, tendered the medical report indicating that the suspended Chief Justice of Nigeria was indisposed. The medical report also indicated that the defendant was placed on a 72-hour bed rest. In his submission, the prosecution counsel, Ali Umar, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, observed that the trial could not proceed in the defendant's absence and asked for an adjournment.
I told the court I was not going to comment on the medical report, but I took notice of the blood pressure as stated by the doctor. So I will not now start making comments on that.
Somebody is ill, and the doctor certified that he is not fit to be in court. What does that imply? It says the man is not fit.
Justice Walter Onoge is standing trial on 6-count charge bordering on false declaration of assets. In Abuja, Olabode Arewa, NTA News.
Senate reconvened after its 2 weeks extended recess and adjourned 1 hour after. National Assembly correspondent Ignatius Nko reports that the adjournment is in honor of the late member of the House of Representatives, Temitope Olatoye, who lost his life during the governorship and state House of Assembly elections in Oyo State.
Senators entering the chamber for plenary after the short recess. It was the major meeting of these parliamentarians after the 2019 general elections. To some of them, it was a time to exchange congratulatory handshake. For others, it might be the last recess they will be witnessing. In matters of minutes, the banters and compliments gave way for legislative business. 6 items were scheduled on the order paper for consideration, but unfortunately, they were stepped down as a mark of respect for late Temitope Olatoye, a serving member of the House of Representatives from Oyo State, who lost his life during the just concluded governorship and state assembly elections.
Leader of the Senate. Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues, in keeping with our tradition and convention in this Senate and indeed in the National Assembly, that when a sad event of this nature takes place, we normally suspend plenary and indeed all parliamentary activities in respect of the demise of any of our colleagues.
In respect of the Honourable Member, to adjourn all our proceedings and activities today, and secondly, to observe 1 minute silence. Gentle soul rest in perfect peace. Amen.
The Senate is to commence debate on the general principles of the 2019 Appropriation Bill on Wednesday, the 13th of March 2019, from the National Assembly. Ignatius Nkwo, NTN News.
The House of Representatives has expressed sadness over the shooting of Representative Olatoye Temitope on the 9th of March, which led to his death. National Assembly correspondent Laimi Ali reports that the lawmakers urge authorities to fish out and bring perpetrators to justice.
He lost his life on the election day after voting, and no one should die in those circumstances.
It's sad to see Sugar go. He was a quiet, gentle, but effective member of the House.
Before adjournment of plenary in honor of the late Representative Olatoye Temitope, the Speaker, Yakubu Dogara, also announced the death of a former lawmaker, Bethel Amadi. Prayers were offered for the repose of their souls.
Father, we beseech thee to take care of the soul of our former colleague.
In the meantime, the APC caucus at the House of Representatives, while briefing the press, described the recent general elections as a victory for democracy. House leader Femi Gbajabiamila, when questioned on the leadership of the 9th Assembly, said that is a decision for the party.
The party will make a decision on which way to go. This is not something that obtains its international best practices.
The House will reconvene Wednesday for normal legislative proceedings. From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NTA News.
The National Identity Management Commission and the Nigerian Immigration Service have been meeting to work out a unified national identity for all Nigerians. This is in line with the directive of President Muhammadu Buhari to all biometric data generating government agencies. Victor Azu has the report.
This could easily pass for one of those courtesy visits, seeing officers of the Nigerian Immigration Service on one side and management of the National Identity Management Commission NIMC on the other. However, it didn't take long for me to figure out that this is a strategy meeting, as both agencies have something in common. They both provide Nigerians one form of identification or the other. The meeting is therefore in compliance with a presidential directive to harmonize the collection and usage of biometric data for all Nigerians instead of duplicating efforts. As the two leaders step into the boardroom, the Comptroller General of Immigration, Muhammad Babandede, states his mission.
That every person in our territory must have one identity. That the same person who has driver license, the same person who has a passport, is the same person who has insurance, is the same person who has voter's card. And this is the job of NIMC. So if we work under one ecosystem with you, this is achievable.
Our only job is to make sure that every person is just single, one. Only one name should be able to do identity management.
In due course, Nigerians can be hopeful of a real-time online connection between both agencies to kickstart a regime of identity harmonization in Nigeria. In Abuja, Victor Azu, NTN News.
Nigeria's mining sector was the attraction of many Canadian investors at the Prospectors and Developers Association of Canada Convention in Toronto. Joy Osiagu reports that operators in the precious metal value chain were eager to hear about the potentials of the sector in Nigeria.
While exhibitors were scrambling for potential investors in the mining sector, the Nigerian delegation to the Prospectors and Developers Association of Canada Convention had organized an event tagged Nigeria Day on the sideline with the theme Nigeria Beyond Oil. It was designed to showcase innovations and efforts undertaken by President Muhammadu Buhari's administration to ensure that mining investments in Nigeria are safe and profitable.
The Economic Recovery and Growth Plan of the Buhari administration recognizes the potential of mining as a strategic multiplier of income streams, especially now that Nigeria is experiencing dwindling oil revenues.
High Commissioner of Nigeria to Canada, Adeyinka Ashekun, gave cheering news about the outcome of the Nigeria-Canada Investment Summit held in November last year in Abuja.
The area where an MOU was signed was the area of mining, which paved the way for them to do great things in terms of mining, and that whole work has started. So today you hear things that will probably excite you and interest you and persuade you to make that decision to invest in Nigeria in the area of solid minerals.
Geologists and investors on location in Nigeria gave testimonies of the huge potential of the mining sector. In Toronto, Canada, Joy Oseago, NTA News.
Yobe State Governor Ibrahim Gaidam has approved a fresh recruitment of 237 persons into the state civil service. A statement by the Yobe State Director General for Media Press Affairs, Abdullahi Bego, announced that those recruited include Bachelors of Science and Masters of Science degree holders, as well as holders of National Diploma and Higher National Diploma. Head of the Civil Service of Yobe State, Alhaji Usman Maraya, said of the 237 new employees, 53 will be posted to the Teaching Service Board, 14 to Science and Technical School Board, and 10 to tertiary institutions in the state. The rest will be posted to ministries, departments, and agencies in Yobe State. We now join Michael in our Lagos studios for more reports on our lineup tonight.
And welcome to Lagos. The 19th edition of Obangame Express, being hosted by the Nigerian Navy, has begun with a view to improving regional cooperation in tackling illegal activities within the maritime domain. Dr. Okunyemi reports that 8 Nigerian Navy ships, as well as ships from United States, Portugal, and Morocco, will be participating in this year's sea exercise.
The NNS Centenary will be leading the fleet of Nigerian Navy ships deployed for exercise Obangame Express 2019. It is one of the 2 offshore patrol vessels capable of stealth operations. The exercise aimed at assessing and improving Gulf of Guinea law enforcement capacity has over the years recorded successes, especially reducing pirates' activities, which evidently resulted in the arrest of NV Neso 2, a pirate mothership in the Republic of Benin 4 months ago.
These exercises, things like trackers exercise, like visit, bosses and seizure, and other similar exercises. In doing the exercises with them, we have learned a lot of things from them. And when we go to sea, after the exercise, we found out that these skills that we acquired from them became very useful in arresting and in tracking and arresting criminal and rogue vessels.
About 31 countries are expected to participate in the exercise, including 20 African nations and 11 allied countries.
The exercise will attract foreign guests to participants and domestic stakeholders in the maritime domain. The overall objectives are to exercise each of the participating countries' capabilities in maritime domain awareness and maritime interdiction operations.
The exercise commenced with the in-port training of Special Forces personnel from Nigeria, Ghana, Togo, Cameroon, and Benin Republic. In Lagos, Dotun Ogunyemi, NTA News.
Royal Engineered Stones is one of the 90 exhibitors at the 2019 Nigerian Manufacturing and Equipment Expo in Lagos. Marketing manager of the company, Abhishek Mishra, says the 3-day fair will be utilized optimally to showcase a range of products. Paul Omukago has details.
Engineered Stones Limited, producer of marble and granite tiles as well as other ceramic products, has over the years carved a niche for itself. The 2019 Expo affords the company the opportunity to relate with individuals and corporate organizations in the building and property development sector. No wonder organizers and members of the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria led in visiting the company's stand to have a first-hand view of its range of products. Marketing manager who conducted the visitors around the stand says all the raw materials used in production of its different brands are sourced within Nigeria.
Granite and marble both are the very costly material, and now the importation is a very difficult. So that's why we are in that business with granite and marble. We are manufactured here. The granite is all the natural, and marble is our own, is all the engineered marble. So whatever the drawback in the natural marble, we rectified here and we sell in that market. So the price is come down. So is good for the local peoples and the client people who buy the cheaper, good material in cheap rate.
The association has taken the challenge through this event of leading the manufacturing sector to continue to play a vital role in the nation's vision of becoming one of the leading industrial economies in Africa.
The 2019 Expo with the theme optimizing the value chain in the manufacturing sector to ensure sustainable growth and competitiveness provides a common ground for exhibitors to interact on issues in the sector. In Lagos, Paul Omukago, NTA News.
This is still NTA Network News. More reports with Kudu after this timeout. Please stay with us.
Thank you for remaining with NTA Network News. Farmers in Nigeria on Anko Borrowers program redeemed their image. Amina Nujem is here to give us details of that on Business News.
Thank you, Mohammed. Farmers across the country have commenced the repayment of loans obtained under the Anko Borrowers program, which disbursed about 200 billion naira to farmers nationwide. Maize farmers disclosed that they accessed a 3 billion naira loan facility and have commenced repayment.
That whoever collected this loan, he must pay for it. And we have now proved it that we have paid or we are ready to pay our loan. Total loan is 9.2 billion naira for the 19 states. This 3 billion is only for this northwest zone.
Right now, we support farmers with 1 hectare and a maximum of 5 hectares.
In the meantime, the federal government has set modalities to ensure farming communities have access to the service of banks of agriculture. Now, from the equities market, Tuesday, the 12th of March, saw the Nigerian Stock Exchange dip further in the red. Investors lost 120.56 billion naira as sell pressures persist. Year-to-date returns hits negative territory at minus 0.37%. The OSHA index dipped 1.02% to close at 31,000 basis points, while market capitalization stood at 11.677 trillion naira. 219 million shares exchanged hands in 3,345 deals worth 2.927 billion naira. The reporting season for bank continues with 2 high-quality banks enjoying big increases in non-interest income in 2018. Financial institutions FNBH, Zenith Bank and Diamond Bank were the most active stocks to boost market turnover. FBNH and Zenith topped market value list. Meanwhile, a new Finch report says Nigerian banks' rising local currency issuance is credit positive as it diversifies their funding and reduces their foreign exchange risks. However, most ratings remains constrained by Nigeria's operating environment and B positive sovereign rating. Banks are said to increasingly shift focus to local currency lending given the challenges in foreign currency lending, particularly in the oil sector. Let's now join Charles Abba in our Makodi Network Center for more news.
And a warm welcome to Makodi. Governor Samuel Otom has called on residents of Benue State to remain calm ahead of the rescheduled governorship elections in the state. Elias Ita brings the reactions of some political actors on this development.
Despite the inconclusive nature of the governorship election in Benue State as declared by the electoral umpire, the mood in Makodi, the state capital, and other major towns in the state remains generally peaceful. People are going about their businesses awaiting the pronouncement by INEC on the reschedule. On this note, political actors have urged their supporters to restrain themselves from any unlawful acts.
I want to give INEC the benefit of doubt. It is not first in the history of this country that such declaration has been made. And for us, we are good to go.
the areas that have been cancelled, like I said, for we, predominantly, those are APC areas. Those are APC strongholds. So we are not afraid of going into context.
INEC has not done anything unusual. They are only obeying their rules.
Residents of Benue, like other states in Nigeria, are waiting on INEC to fix a date where the affected states will finally determine for the next 4 years. In Makurdi, Elias, ETF, NTNews.
And from the health sector comes a report that following the recent outbreak of Lassa fever in Benue State and some states of the Federation, health authorities say there is no new case in the state. Commissioner for Health and Human Services, Dr. Emmanuel Eru, confirmed this in an exclusive interview in Makurdi. Blessing Omeche Ebute reports.
In January 2019, an outbreak of Lassa fever was declared in Nigeria. Since then, about 420 cases have been confirmed and 93 deaths recorded in 20 Federation. Benue State was not left out in the outbreak as 5 cases were confirmed with 1 death recorded. To curtail its spread, health authorities in the state, with support from the National Center for Disease Control, quarantined all affected patients at the Benue State University Teaching Hospital, Makurdi.
The doctor in charge that has complications was referred to Abuja, and he was treated. He has complications of renal failure. He had a series of dialysis, and as I'm speaking now, the man was discharged 2 days ago.
He adds that all their contacts have been traced and properly treated. He further speaks on the outbreak of yellow fever in Vandekia local government area of the state.
We sent our personnel there, and they have curtailed the outbreak, and we are doing massive immunization.
He advised members of the public to remain vigilant and report any health issue to the nearest health facility. In Makurdi, Blessing Omeche Ebute, NTA News.
Report runs off our contribution in Makurdi, and still to come tonight is sports after these messages.
Gains and lessons from the 2019 elections in consolidating on democratic culture is the thrust this week on NTA Tuesday Live. Every week, Tuesday Live at 10:30 p.m. promises to be incisive, educative, and informative. Don't miss it.
Welcome back to Abuja. Justin Benue has highlights of stories trending across the globe.
Welcome. United Kingdom's Civil Aviation Authority CAA has banned the Boeing 737 MAX from operating in or over UK airspace as a precautionary measure. The decision comes after an Ethiopian Airlines plane crashed on Sunday, killing 157 persons on board. It was the second fatal accident involving the 737 MAX 8 model in less than 5 months. The UK joins Singapore, China, Malaysia, and Australia in grounding the Boeing 737 model. However, U.S. officials say the aircraft is still safe to fly. In the meantime, members of parliament will vote on Theresa May's Brexit deal after she says she secured legally binding changes following last-minute talks with the EU. The Prime Minister said the changes meant the Irish backstop, the insurance policy designed to avoid a hard border in Ireland, could not become permanent. She insisted that she had delivered what Parliament asked her to do. And from Italy comes a report that children have been told not to turn up to school unless they can prove that they have been properly vaccinated.
Apologies for those glitches there. Nigeria's Chika Chukwumereje bags World Taekwondo Federation Educators Certificate, and Zinedine Zidane targets restructuring Real Madrid for future successes. These are more on Sports Update with Ayu. Death has occurred of Mrs. Alice Anuwe Odeli, a retired matron in the pediatric department of the Lagos State University Teaching Hospital, and one-time president of the Warri Ladies Vanguard. Mrs. Alice Anwe Odeli died on the 2nd of February 2019 at the age of 91. Funeral service holds on the 15th of March at the Baptist Church, Surulere, followed by internment at the cemetery in Yaba. The weather report for Wednesday is next.
Thank you for joining us on the midweek weather forecast from the Nigerian Meteorological Agency. I'm Susan Opara. It's been generally hot over the north and some parts of the central cities, with temperatures as high as 41 degrees Celsius over Sokoto and few other places within the northeastern corner. But we do not expect much significant changes in terms of temperatures over the north, as sunny, hazy and dry conditions will still prevail around the northern cities during the morning hours, with partly cloudy to cloudy conditions over the central cities down to the southern cities. However, there are slim chances for some rainfall activities around Port Harcourt, Calabar and Eket axis during the morning hours. But later in the day, there are higher chances for some scattered thunderstorms over the coastal belt. Few areas within the inland of the southeast, including areas around Benin, Warri, and the inland of the southwest, while the rest of the country remains same as it was in the morning. And that's our bit from here. Thank you for watching, and bye for now.
That concludes NTA Network News for tonight. Thank you for watching. I'm Muhammad Kuda Obakar.